My name's Ashley, and I am actually almost a physical therapist. I'm in my final year of my graduate school for PT. So right now for that, it looks like social distancing, but before all this craziness, it looks more like full-time clinical rotation. So I was in the clinic working with patients, carrying a full caseload and basically just being a PT, but with some supervision from a licensed therapist. I'm currently preparing to take my licensing exam in April, which will hopefully still happen. But you have to take a national exam that says you've met all the requirements to be a physical therapist, along with getting your degree. So actually, education is the next thing that I kind of want to talk about. You start out with a bachelor's degree in literally anything. Study something in undergraduate that you are excited about and passionate about. But once you have that degree, you do also need certain prerequisites for PT school. So PT school, you need to take like bio, chem, physics, those sorts of courses in undergrad, like basic English and math, anything that you would need for a typical degree. Some other interesting ones are like statistics and anatomy and physiology, as well as some PT schools do require some psychology courses. So that's kind of the undergraduate degree. Like I said, you can do it in anything. A lot of people get degrees in something related to PT, whether that's exercise science, exercise physiology. I got my degree in rehabilitation science. Those sorts of degrees will depend on where you go to school, but you don't have to have a science-related degree. You can really have a degree in whatever, like I said, as long as you have those prerequisites. You also do have to take the GRE, which is a lot like the SAT for like getting into an undergraduate school. It's a standardized test. You have to score, a certain percentage or number or score or whatever on. And those are also dictated by different PT schools, what they require. Some schools are moving away from requiring you to take the GRE, but as of right now, most schools still do require it. So after you get your undergraduate degree, then you go to PT school. And right now, PT school is a doctor of physical therapy. Some programs are 2 years or 3 years, depending on the program. Some of them are shifting right now. And you do a mix of in the classroom learning, so very similar to what you're used to. Teacher stands up in front, talks. You do some hands-on discussion, hands-on learning, those sorts of things. But then another really important component of PT school is your clinical experiences. And that's when you actually go into a hospital or into an outpatient facility or into a skilled nursing facility, kind of all those places you think of medical care being provided, and you work with physical therapists and learn from them. So at the beginning, that looks like you kind of just watching what they do, learning from them, and you'll transition to like getting some more patients of your own, getting more hands-on experience, getting to do more decision making on your own. And by the end of PT school, you really have practiced being a full-time physician before you even really have a license and do so on your own, which is a really unique thing about this type of a graduate program that allows you to really get hands-on experience before you start working. So that's a really grueling program, but it's really fun and exciting if you are, interested in physical therapy as a career. And then the next step and the last step is state licensure, which just means that you, like I said, you take that national exam and then you get licensed by each individual state that you want to practice in. The next thing I kind of want to talk about is for you guys, probably more relevant right now, is what to do in high school and then as you move into your college careers. And I would say I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of generally what I would recommend and also give some examples of what I personally did. But I would say in high school, really focus on your science courses. Those are going to be foundational as you move forward. So take seriously your biology classes, your chemistry classes, your physics classes, those sorts of things. If you have it available to you, take an anatomy course or a physiology course. That will give you a leg up for sure. Another really important thing to do, even starting in high school, is just observing and volunteering in healthcare. That can be in any of those places I was mentioning, like an outpatient facility, a hospital, like an inpatient facility or a nursing home. But also, if you can find an occupational therapist to shadow or a speech language pathologist, other people that we work closely with as physical therapists, it's a great way to just get exposed to the career and find out if that is something that you really want to do, um, and just get an idea of what that looks like. So I did that with a local physical therapy clinic, and I did a lot of volunteering, and then some shadowing and like watching the physical therapist. But I did a lot of like clerical work and faxing and filing and kind of all the boring stuff. And I figured, if I like all the paperwork and can do all of that, surely I'll like the hands-on part of the job. That's kind of the most boring part. But it was a really great opportunity for me to volunteer, and do like some community service, but also to learn a lot about the profession. So I'd really recommend doing that. Um, Community service is really big. Physical therapy is a caring profession and is all about giving back to the community and taking care of people. So you want to, in high school, get involved in Girl Scouts or volunteer at the food bank or at the soup kitchen or whatever that might look like in your community, and just show that you want to help people and that you're willing to kind of give some time and some effort, and not really expect anything in return. So like volunteering and community service is a really great thing to get involved with in high school. And then once you're in college for your undergrad, like I said, a lot of people do have science majors, but it's not totally necessary. You can do anything that you want as long as you have those prereqs like I kind of outlined. You will need required observation hours during undergraduate, so get in contact with those local clinics, local hospitals, local nursing homes, those sorts of places. They know that people looking to go into physical therapy need observation hours, so they'll be willing to let you in, but you just have to kind of get your foot in the door, send them an email, call them and say, hey, I go to school wherever, and I'm interested in physical therapy school. Is there someone I can observe or shadow with? So it's all kind of about networking from that standpoint. You want to get to know the people that you're working with. You want to get to know the places that you're shadowing, the patients that you're working with. That's a really invaluable skill in PT school, but also then as you become a PT. Again, keep volunteering, keep up with community service. A lot of colleges have great organizations that center around that. So find one at the school that you choose to go to and get involved. We had like a rehabilitation science student association where all the students who were in that major worked together. We volunteered at local sporting events. We volunteered with blood drives. We kind of found a way to organize getting this community service and showing that we're committed to, helping our communities. So find a club or something that at your school that does that sort of a thing, and get involved with that. Sort of in those areas, you will need letters of recommendation for graduate school, and you'll want to get those from the people that you volunteered with or the people that you shadowed under. You want to build that network and kind of get close with them so that they're able to write you a letter of recommendation that says, this person is really hardworking, this person's really caring and compassionate, and they have these examples to write you a really strong letter of recommendation, because those do go really far in applying to graduate school. The other thing is a lot of people do a gap year between undergrad and their graduate career, and that's really important for a lot of people. It allows you to get more life experience. It allows you to maybe go to your community college to get some of those prerequisites if you were a history major because you love that, but now you want to go to PT school. It allows you to get more hands-on experience if you choose to work at a clinic or in a hospital, whether that's as an aide who just kind of like helps out with patients, or whether that's in the front desk doing more of the paperwork and clerical side. It can let you get some more experience that way. You can also work as a CNA or work in a hospital. So that's a really great way to kind of take a year, catch your breath after undergrad, decide that you really do want to do PT, and make some money, figure out kind of what your next step is, and apply to graduate schools. So you'll probably hear that a lot from guidance counselors and from other people that a gap year is okay, but I'll be another person to tell you that sometimes that's the best choice for you, and really kind of consider if that's what's best for you. Um, just some other general recommendations that people told me is to just find something that you're passionate about that's not physical therapy. And I guess this goes for whatever you want to go into as a profession, but find something that you love outside of your work, because as we're all learning right now during this time, we need some hobbies. We need other things that we're excited about. And that will keep you sane. It will keep you interested. It will keep you well-rounded. And that kind of can set you apart in applications for undergrad, applications for grad school, to say, hey, here's this other thing that I really love and that I've put a lot of work into. For me, that was traveling and studying abroad and working with the African Studies department at my school. I was able to show real commitment to something outside of PT, which makes you, again, an interesting applicant. I'd also tell you to develop study skills early, and good study skills. The jump from high school to college and university is crazy in terms of the amount of work you need to put into studying. That was a tough jump for me. So learn how to study now, and it will just be that much easier. But then the jump from undergrad to grad school is also tough. Keep up those really good study skills. You'll certainly need them. The other piece of advice is just make sure you really want to do this before you go to grad school, before you get really far down the road. It's a really awesome profession and I love it. And I'm really glad that I did it, but I'm really glad I took some time to mull over that choice before I just jumped in. And then my last piece of advice is just to find mentors, find people who are good at what they do, find people who know a lot and do their jobs really well, and then see if they'll kind of take you under their wing and teach you and share their expertise. That's a really wonderful way to learn and to grow in networks and connections. And I've had some really awesome professors and people who have mentored me and guided me and have been in my corner and really shaped who I am as a clinician and also just kind of as a person. So yeah, that's kind of my brief advice. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, yeah. So now that I'm looking for a job, what setting am I looking in? I'm planning to do something called travel physical therapy, which basically means that I will work in a different place about every 4 months, and I'll cover like temporary needs for physical therapists. My love is in pediatric physical therapy. I love working with kids. I love the energy and excitement that they bring to sessions, and I find it really rewarding to kind of help kids develop in milestones. It's really exciting to see a kid who couldn't walk, or to see a kid learn how to use a new piece of device that enables them to do so much more in their environment. So that's kind of where I love to work. But I also am very interested in working just in outpatient physical therapy. So that's where you would go if you hurt your knee playing sports. If you have a bad back, need physical therapy for that, or somewhere if you have a concussion, you may go and get physical therapy to help you recover from the concussion. Sorts of those kinds of things where you come in for an hour, we give you some exercises, we practice, may do some like manual therapy, which is more hands-on things, and then you go home and kind of do all your exercises at home. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm interested in working.